guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today we're going to be talking about The Way Back.
So The Way Back is a Ben Affleck film about an alcoholic who is trying to redeem himself through coaching his high school basketball team and just, get his life in order.
Yeah, you're seeing Jack Cunningham just struggle in the beginning. You're seeing him just pound back some beers, multiple beers, and he has this, you can just tell he's lost himself.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the better representations of alcoholism that I've seen in a film. It's not too in your face about it. It's very subtle, like the ways he's doing things, even filling up his cup before he goes in to work in a construction zone, drinking while he's having these conversations, and his overall sensitivity to the alcohol use. It was really well executed.
It's also interesting that during this time, Ben Affleck himself was struggling. And so you're seeing him play this character that,
it almost mirrors his real life. And I know, obviously, as people that are just observing from the outside, I don't know what Ben Affleck really went through. But in this role, you can tell he's putting a lot of effort into it. And it shows on screen times that he's really struggling. And it kind of transcends the film at times. So his performance was excellent.
I've always been a Ben Affleck fan. I've always supported him. I always thought he was a good actor, but this one he really shows his acting abilities.
So the story itself is fairly basic. It does add some layers as the movie goes on. I thought during the first half that this was going to be a very generic story, but once you really dive into what's going on with his character beneath the surface, what kind of causes his alcoholism and his personal issues, it became far more compelling. I think the writing, especially in the second half of the film, is very strong, even if it does have kind of an abrupt ending, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely has an abrupt ending. I mean, you're seeing at the end there is somewhat of a shining light, like a glimpse of hope at the end. Like you're seeing Jack Cunningham maybe
turning his life around.
Yeah, turning his life around. So you're seeing what he did as a coach for the basketball team, help them turn themselves around. So you have that, but it just kind of just ends abruptly, like Brian said, and you kind of just want a little bit more before it completely, stopped.
Yeah, we're going to get into a couple spoilers here, so if you haven't checked it out, I would avoid it here. I'm going to talk about kind of a very spoiler-esque, I feel, part of the film. So there's a scene in particular that I think was extremely well acted by Ben Affleck, and it is when he has to talk to one of his son's friend's fathers when his son's friend passes, because in the film his son dies of a disease at an early age, and that's kind of what sparks his downward spiral. But then seeing him see someone else go through what he struggled with and he fully breaks down. I mean, that was a very powerful scene. This movie has a couple really powerful scenes regarding his character, and he shows such a wide range of emotion. I can't stress that. Even though I didn't absolutely think the movie as itself was incredible, his individual performance definitely shone through.
Oh yeah, it definitely showed through. It definitely carried the movie for me.
Yeah. So like I said, I felt that this movie did feel a little rushed. I know that there were some issues with the production of this movie, particularly with Ben Affleck, and there's a lot of story going on behind that. But it did feel like we were driving towards a certain point, and it kind of just cuts off. Yeah. It doesn't have the most satisfying ending in the world. And maybe that makes sense, because a lot of Hollywood films that I watch, you feel like you get a beginning, a middle, you get the climax, the falling action, the conclusion. This really felt like we got, rising action, climax, and then it just kind of ended. Like we got 20 minutes of like kind of not really fluff, but nothing at the end. So at the end of the day, the actual plot of the movie isn't that tight, in my opinion. But like I said, maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they're leaving this open thing. Like maybe Ben Affleck's still going through the struggles. Maybe it isn't always a happy ending for people.
Yeah, it kept a little more realism to it.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a very real movie. It didn't feel like very Hollywood-like. They did have some moments. It is a sports movie, somewhat at the end of the day. So you had those kind of cliched sports moments. The team coming up and coming together and stuff. Some fun, lighthearted moments. But at the end of the day, it did try to stay a little more serious.
Yeah. So I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10. I really, I enjoyed it. I love Ben Affleck's performance as Jack Cunningham. It was really compelling, and you can tell this is sort of realism behind it. The story, like Brian said, it was a little, I don't know, it could have added a little more.
Yeah.
But I overall thought it was a great acting performance by Ben Affleck.
So I would give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I think that Ben Affleck's performance alone pushes it up. I think it's one of his best in years, if not his best that I've seen personally. And I do think that the story, as it was written, is interesting. It definitely paints a very realistic picture of someone going through these struggles, but it just didn't have that entertaining, satisfying of a film when you look for it. But as a real story that, you could see happening in the real world to someone, definitely well executed.
This is our review of The Way Back. Let us know down in the comments down below what you thought of the movie. Have you been checking it out since, we've been under lockdown, quarantine? Any other movies?
Yeah, so I was kind of interested to think, what of the newer movies would you maybe be interested in us reviewing if you've been watching? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to spend $20 to rent a movie and then it just not great. So if there's anything that you guys would want us to check out, leave it down below. We'd love to check out anything. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.
Bye.